The jungle of Kraxon, 7 was never silent. It was a world where danger lived in every tree, every shadow, every breath of wind. The air was always full of roars, growls, and the strange cries of alien creatures. But tonight, something changed. The noise stopped. The planet itself held its breath. High above the dark trees, a small escape pod entered the sky. It came down like a falling star, glowing red from the heat. But there was no sound, no burning scream, no crash. The pod touched the ground as softly as a feather. The jungle creatures watched from a distance. Predators, hunters, and beasts with sharp teeth all stared at the pod with wide eyes. Something inside them whispered danger, and for the first time in years, they stepped back. The door of the escape pod slowly opened. A faint white light spilled out, and then she appeared. A human girl, young, thin, barefoot. No armor, no weapon. Her clothes were torn, and her hair fell across her face like a shadow. She looked fragile, but the jungle reacted as if a monster had arrived. She took one slow step forward. The leaves under her feet did not make a sound. The wind around her did not move her hair. She walked with a strange calm, as if nothing in this world could touch her. From a high cliff, 3 alien scouts watched her. They belonged to the Zyran race, known across the galaxy as fearless hunters. But right now, all 3 felt something they never felt before: fear. One of them whispered, "She has no armor, no tools. Why does the jungle fear her?" The second scout shook his head. No heartbeat detected. No breathing. "She is not natural." The third swallowed hard. "Then what is she?" Down below, the girl walked deeper into the jungle. Every creature sensed her presence. A deadly razor beast hiding in the bushes slowly backed away. A giant winged serpent wrapped itself around a tree and refused to attack. Even the night birds, always aggressive, flew in the opposite direction. The world gave her space. But she did not notice anything. Her eyes were half closed, like she was waking from a long dream. Her steps were steady and controlled, like she had walked this jungle 1,000 times before. Yet she had never been here. She touched the trunk of a glowing blue tree. The lights in its bark flickered, like it recognized her. She whispered only one word: "Why?" The scouts above her recorded everything. Their commander, watching through a screen, frowned. "She moves like a shadow. She makes no sound. Be careful. Do not approach." But one scout ignored the warning. He loaded his shock rifle and slid down quietly. He thought she was weak. A lost human. Easy to capture. Easy money. He stepped behind her and slowly raised his weapon. But before he could pull the trigger, she disappeared. The scout blinked. The girl was gone. He turned around quickly, and she was behind him, standing only 1 foot away, so close that he felt cold air around her body. He jumped back in fear. "How did you—" She looked at him with calm eyes. No anger, no fear, no emotion at all. She raised her hand slowly and touched the barrel of his gun. The metal became cold, then froze solid. The rifle cracked and fell apart in his hands. Her voice was soft, but it felt heavy in the air. "Do not follow me." The scout stumbled away, shaking as if he had seen death itself. He ran back to the cliff. His friends asked, "What happened? Did she attack you?" He took a deep breath. She did not move. She just appeared, and she froze my weapon with one touch. The commander on the screen opened a scanner. A drone flew above the girl and scanned her body. The results appeared in red. "No biological signature," he said slowly. "No heartbeat, no heat, no blood flow. She is not alive." The jungle suddenly trembled. The ground shook under her feet. Far away, a deep roar echoed, one that belonged to a creature older than the forest itself. Even the scouts felt it. Something ancient had awakened. The girl looked up calmly at the shaking trees. Her eyes glowed for a second, like a spark remembering fire. She whispered again, not to the scouts, not to the forest, but to herself. "It found me." The tremors grew stronger. Birds flew in panic. Beasts ran in every direction, terrified. Even the fearless hunters of the jungle hid in their caves. But she did not run. She stood still, waiting, as if she had faced this creature before, as if she had awakened herself. The scouts watched in terror as a massive shadow moved between the trees. Something huge, something powerful, something the galaxy feared was coming toward her, and she did not move. The silent arrival was only the beginning. The silence of Craxon 7 did not end with the trembling ground. It only grew heavier. The night air felt thick, as if it carried a warning. The human girl, still calm, still silent, continued walking deeper into the jungle. Behind her, the giant shadow moved slowly, following her like a forgotten memory rising from the dark. Above her, the 3 Zyran scouts stayed on the cliff, frozen with fear. None of them dared to breathe loudly. The commander's voice came through their radios, low and tense. Do not lose sight of her, but do not attack. She is dangerous. The scouts exchanged nervous looks. Dangerous? She looked like a fragile human. Bare feet, torn clothes, no heartbeat. But the jungle fear told a different story. The scout whose rifle had frozen still shook, trying to calm his hands. Commander, she knew I was there. She moved without sound. I blinked and she was behind me. She did not teleport, the commander replied. She moved faster than you could see. The scout whispered, "That's worse." Far below, the girl walked past glowing mushroom trees. The ground under her feet made no noise, not even a soft step. Her presence felt like a shadow that did not belong to the world. The animals did not dare to come close. Even the insects were silent. A pair of mercenary hunters, ruthless alien trackers, had also detected her crash landing. They were known across the galaxy for capturing rare creatures. When they heard a human girl with no biometrics, they got excited. Rare, valuable, easy prey, or so they thought. They moved between the trees, wearing heavy armor and carrying high-energy nets meant to trap beasts twice their size. One mercenary whispered, "She is alone. No tech, no defense. Easy catch." The other laughed. "Maybe she is scared. Lost. Crying somewhere." But the jungle corrected him. A deep growl echoed through the trees. The mercenary stopped laughing. The girl heard it too, but showed no fear. It sounded like a beast older than the forest, something only she recognized. The mercenaries continued forward until they saw her walking calmly. "She doesn't even notice us," one said. "Perfect. Let's take her." They prepared a stun net. The moment they threw it, it flew straight toward her, but stopped in the air. Frozen. Mid-flight. The net hung in the air like time had paused. Both mercenaries stared, terrified. She stopped it without touching it. The girl finally turned her head toward them. Her expression did not change. Calm, empty, silent. "You should leave," she said quietly. The mercenaries looked at each other. They were greedy, proud hunters. They did not listen. "Activate backup net." Both fired a second, stronger net. This time, the net flew directly toward her chest and passed straight through her body. It hit the ground behind her. The mercenaries froze in shock. What is she made of?" The girl spoke again, her voice soft like distant wind. "You cannot catch what you cannot understand." The ground shook again. A roar rolled through the jungle. The giant creature was getting closer. This time, even the mercenaries stepped back. "We should retreat," one whispered. "It's coming this way." But they were too late. A huge shape moved in the dark behind them. They heard heavy breathing, deep and slow. The Predator King, ruler of the jungle, had arrived. The ground vibrated under its weight. The mercenaries turned slowly. The creature towered over them, its eyes glowing with ancient power. Its claws were bigger than their bodies. The girl did not move. The Predator King did not attack her. It only watched her with respect. This made the mercenaries even more afraid. Why is it not killing her?" one whispered. "Everything runs from the Predator King." The girl finally stepped forward. The beast lowered its massive head toward her like a loyal guardian. It growled softly, almost gently. The mercenaries stumbled backward in disbelief. The Zyran scouts watching from the cliff whispered, "She controls it." No, it respects her. No creature respects a human. Not like this. The commander studied the drone readings. The Predator King's heart rate had changed. Every predator on the planet followed this beast. If it bowed to her, the commander's voice trembled. If she can control the king, she can control the entire planet. Down below, the girl rested her hand on the beast's head. I remember you, she whispered. You were the first to find me. The beast growled softly again, like answering a friend it had lost long ago. The mercenaries slowly tried to escape, but the beast growled loudly at them. The message was clear. Do not touch her. Do not follow her. But the jungle was not their biggest problem anymore, because above the planet, in a ship orbiting Kraxon 7, the commander opened an old classified file. Project Silent Dawn, a human project erased from history, a human weapon that moved without sound, fear, or limits, a soldier designed to end wars alone. And she matched every detail. The commander whispered to himself, hunters have become the hunted, because she is not human. She is something humans try to forget. Back in the jungle, the ground shook one more time. The girl looked into the darkness and said softly, it's still coming. The thing that woke because of me. The Predator King stood guard beside her. The true danger had not even arrived yet. The night on Kraxon, 7 grew colder, though no wind moved through the trees. The girl stood beside the Predator King, the largest and most feared creature on the planet. Its massive body blocked half the moonlight, yet it stayed low, bowing its head close to her as if she was its leader. The jungle watched her in silence. Every beast, every shadow, every living thing. Something about her presence reached deep into the planet's memory. Far above the treetops, inside the Zyran command ship orbiting the planet, Commander Ervok stared at a screen. His sharp white eyes were wide with disbelief. The drone feed showed the impossible. A human girl touching the Predator King like it was a harmless pet. Ervok whispered, she should be dead. She has no biometrics, no blood, no heat, and yet the strongest creature on Kraxon, 7 obeys her. He opened the file he feared the most. Project Silent Dawn. It was written in old galactic standard. The pages were filled with warnings, red markings, and erase lines, as if someone wanted the project forgotten forever. He read slowly. Humanity designed a silent weapon, a soldier who moves without sound, without fear, without limits. His claws tightened around the screen. Project canceled. Too dangerous. All records destroyed by human command. Ervok felt a cold chill. This girl matches everything. Back on the planet, the girl slowly placed her palm against the Predator King's forehead. A faint white glow appeared under her skin. The beast shivered like it recognized the light. She whispered, I was here before, wasn't I? The beast growled softly, almost like saying yes. She closed her eyes. A sharp pain flashed through her mind. She saw a memory, broken, blurry, like a cracked mirror. Flashes of a laboratory. White lights. Scientists running. Her own small hands covered in frost. A voice saying, Dawn, you are our last hope. She opened her eyes quickly. The memory vanished. The Zyran scouts on the cliff watched her carefully. One whispered, she is remembering something. The second scout shook his head. Humans do not make things like her. The third replied, humans did, long ago. A sudden screech cut through the forest. The ground trembled again. The girl turned her head slowly. It followed me, she said softly. The Predator King growled and moved one step forward, placing its huge body between her and the sound. The trees behind them cracked apart. Something enormous, older than the Predator King, rose from the darkness. Only its shadow was visible through the fog. The scouts gasped. What kind of creature is that? Ervok heard the sound through the ship speakers. His scales turned cold. That is not a creature. That is a guardian. Those monsters only wake for one reason, when something unnatural enters the planet. Down in the jungle, the girl watched the giant shadow come closer. Her voice remained calm. You woke because of me. The guardian roared, a sound so deep it shook dust off the ancient trees. The entire planet felt the message. Everything alive was afraid. Except her. The Predator King roared back, shaking the ground. But the girl raised her hand. It stopped instantly. The king lowered its head, listening to her silent command. "Let me go," she whispered. The beast stepped aside. The girl took one calm step forward. Her bare feet made no sound on the soil. The guardian growled, a sound like mountains grinding together. For a moment, everything was still. Then the guardian lowered its head too. The Zyran scouts panicked. "It kneels!" "That thing never kneels. It only bows to ancient powers." Arvok leaned closer to his monitor, whispering, "She is not a girl. She is a command unit, a living weapon the humans never finished, a forgotten creation." On the ground, the girl gently touched the Guardian's cracked hide. A flash of memory shot through her again. She saw a destroyed battlefield, humans running, creatures bowing to her. The same Guardian kneeling as she walked through fire and smoke. She whispered, "I was made for war." Her voice broke for the first time. "But I don't want war." The Guardian emitted a soft vibration, like sympathy. The Predator King moved close again, flanking her like a loyal soldier. She looked at both creatures. "You were not afraid of me before," she said quietly. "You were my protectors." The forest glowed softly, responding to her voice. Leaves shimmered. The ground pulsed with energy, as if the entire planet remembered her. The scouts were frozen, overwhelmed by the impossible sight. Arvok clenched his teeth. If she regains all her memories, she will be unstoppable. Just then the girl stumbled. A sharp pain hit her head. More broken memories flashed. A scientist rushing toward her. Alarm screaming. A voice shouting, "Deactivate Dawn 01. She is waking too fast." Then darkness. She gasped and held her head. The Predator King nudged her gently, worried. The Guardian lowered itself, offering her support. She whispered with shaking breath, "I was not just a soldier. I was a weapon they feared too." Above the planet, the command ship alarms began to scream. A new signal appeared. A human signal. Arvok froze. "This cannot be." The message repeated. "Unit Dawn. 01, your creator is approaching." The girl's eyes widened. She remembered that voice. Her past, her purpose, her creators were coming, and they did not come in peace. Sarah stepped into the smoke-filled corridor, each breath heavy, her mind locked on one question. "Who am I?" Michael followed close behind, but this time there was fear in his eyes, the kind he had never shown before. As they reached the end of the corridor, a massive chamber opened before them, a haunting mix of engines, wires, glowing cores, and something disturbingly alive pulsing through the walls. But the most shocking thing was the transparent pod in the center. Inside it lay a girl who looked exactly like Sarah. Sarah froze, her heartbeat echoing in her ears. "Who is she?" Michael swallowed hard. "Sarah, you're not just the only survivor of this facility. You are the blueprint of Project Echo." Sarah took a step closer to the pod, her fingers trembling. The moment she touched the glass, the girl inside twitched, her eyelids fluttering. Screens around the chamber activated on their own, lines of text flashing rapidly. "Primary unit status. Replication incomplete." Sarah stepped back, fear and confusion twisting inside her. "Replication? Michael, is she my duplicate?" Michael said nothing, and his silence was louder than any answer. Sarah's voice cracked, but strange strength rose within her. "Michael, why did you bring me here? Tell me the truth." Michael exhaled slowly. "Sarah, you're not an experiment." He hesitated. "But you are the result of one. Your original version died years ago." The room spun around her. Inside the pod, the girl's eyes opened. Same eyes, same shade, same expression. Sarah whispered, barely breathing, "Then who am I? Who is she? And which one of us is the original?" Michael finally spoke, voice low. "That is exactly the question we tried to bury. Because if you ever discover the truth, the entire facility is designed to erase itself." Suddenly, the lights in the chamber shifted to a deep blood red. Mechanical footsteps echoed from the hallway, cold, metallic, coming closer. Michael grabbed Sarah's hand. "We need to go. Now." Sarah looked one last time at the girl inside the pod, and the girl raised her hand, placing her palm against the glass. Sarah slowly lifted her own hand to match it. Two identical hands, separated only by a thin sheet of glass. But the real barrier between them was a far heavier question. Which one of them was truly real? Sarah ran with Michael through the dark hallway as red warning lights blinked across the ceiling. The metal footsteps behind them grew louder, heavy, steady, hunting. But Sarah's mind wasn't on the danger. Her thoughts kept returning to the girl, inside the pod. She looked exactly like me. Same face, same eyes, same everything. Her chest tightened. Michael noticed her silence. "Sarah, listen. I know this is hard, but we need to keep moving." "Michael," she whispered, voice shaking. "That girl, who is she? Why does she look like me?" Michael didn't answer. His jaw tightened, like he was fighting something inside. They turned a corner and entered an old maintenance room. Michael shut the door quickly and locked it from inside. The room was small, full of broken screens, dusty tools, and cold metal shelves. A single blue emergency light flickered weakly. Sarah pressed her back against the wall, breathing fast. "Michael, tell me the truth. Not half of it. Not pieces. All of it." Michael took a deep breath. Project Echo was created to build the perfect memory carrier. A human mind that could not break, a mind that could not forget, a mind that could store everything forever. Sarah frowned. "That sounded impossible." Michael nodded. That's why they created you." Sarah stared at him. "Created me?" Michael finally looked her in the eyes. "Sarah, you weren't born here. You were built here." Her heart almost stopped. "No, I have memories. A family. A home." "Those memories were given to you," Michael said softly. "They were never real." Sarah felt the world collapse around her. Her legs trembled. She held on to a shelf to keep from falling. "I'm not human?" "You are human," Michael said quickly. "More human than anyone in this entire place. Because you feel, you fight, you care. But yes, you were created, built to hold memories that others couldn't." Tears filled Sarah's eyes. She shook her head. "So the girl in the pod, is she another version of me?" Michael hesitated. "She is the next version, the one they wanted to replace you with." Sarah's stomach dropped. Replace her? Like she was a machine? A tool? Before she could speak, loud metallic bangs hit the door. Boom! 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 The entire room shook. Michael pulled out a small device from his pocket. A pulse grenade, barely working, old tech. "Sarah, they're not here for me," he said. "They're here for you. They want the original memory carrier back." Sarah stepped forward, eyes determined even with tears falling. "I am not a thing they can take. I am not a memory box. I will not let them replace me." Michael stared at her, shocked. He had never seen her like this. The door bent inward, metal twisting. Boom! A mechanical voice echoed from outside. "Target. Sarah. Return to facility core." Sarah wiped her tears. "Michael, if I was created, then I want to know one more thing." "What?" he asked. She clenched her fists. "Why did you help me escape?" Michael froze. He didn't answer. Not yet. The door finally cracked open, and the metallic hunters stepped inside. Sarah stood tall, staring directly into the shining blue eyes of machines. If she wasn't born human, then she would choose to become one. Right here, right now. The metal hunters entered the room one by one. Tall, cold, shining with hard blue lights. Their bodies were built like armor, but their movement was silent, too silent. Sarah felt the air turn heavy. Michael stepped in front of her, one hand stretched back toward her, as if trying to protect her with nothing but his own body. "Sarah," he whispered, "stay behind me." The hunters' glowing eyes scanned the room. Their voices were empty and motionless. Target located. Sarah unit. Return immediately. Sarah, clench your fists. "I am not a unit," she said softly. "I am not an object you control." But the machines didn't care. They stepped forward. Michael flicked open the pulse grenade. It hummed weakly, like an old device begging for one last spark. "You too will not take her," he shouted. He threw the grenade at the ground. A pulse of blue shockwave blasted outward. The room shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Light flickered. The machines froze for a moment. Just one moment. Enough for Michael to grab Sarah's hand. "Run." They sprinted to the back exit as smoke filled the room. But the machines recovered faster than expected. The cold voice echoed again. Pulse disruption detected. Resuming tracking. Their footsteps followed. Faster this time. Sarah and Michael ran through dark hallways, turning corners, sliding under broken pipes, jumping over debris. Sarah's breath was fast. Her heart pounded, but her mind was even louder. "Michael," she gasped, "you still haven't answered me." "Not now, Sarah." "No," she shouted. "Why did you help me escape? Why risk your life for me?" Michael stopped running for a second. Just 1 second. He looked at her with something raw in his eyes. Fear, guilt, and something deeper. "Sarah," he whispered, "I helped you because—" A gunshot-like blast exploded behind them. A metal hunter fired an energy bolt that hit the wall inches from Michael's head. Michael pulled her again. "No time. Keep moving." They slipped into an elevator shaft. Michael forced elevator door open and pushed her inside, but the power was dead. The lift wasn't moving. Sarah swallowed. "We're trapped." Michael turned to face the hallway. "You're not trapped. I am." Sarah's eyes widened. "What?" "No. No, Michael." He held her shoulders. "They are after you, not me. If I stay and distract them, you can climb the maintenance ladder inside the shaft and reach the upper level." Tears rushed into Sarah's eyes. "Michael, don't do this. They will kill you." Michael smiled weakly. "For months I watched you, not as a project, not as a subject, but as a person." His voice cracked. "I didn't help you escape because it was my job. I helped you because I couldn't watch them break you again." Sarah felt her chest tighten. "Michael, please, come with me." He shook his head. "I can't. They know my access codes. They can track me anywhere. But you—" He touched her cheek gently. "You can disappear. You can survive." The machine's footsteps grew louder. Closer. Michael pushed her toward the ladder. "Go. Now." Sarah's hand shook, but she grabbed the ladder. Before climbing, she looked back at him. "Michael, you said I wasn't an object, so don't treat me like one now. Let me fight with you." Michael stepped back into the hallway as the machines appeared. He whispered one last line. "You already fought, Sarah. Every day you lived. Now live enough for both of us." He slammed the elevator door shut. Sarah screamed, "Michael!" Through the small window in the door, she saw him stand alone, facing the metal hunters. The machine's voice echoed, "Surrender the memory unit." Michael raised his fists. "No." And the machines charged. Sarah climbed the ladder with tears falling, her heart breaking, because for the first time, she wasn't running from danger. She was running from losing someone she didn't even know she cared for, until now. Sarah climbed the maintenance ladder with trembling hands. Her heart pounded, not just in the chase, but from the thought of Michael, standing alone against the hunters. She reached the top and looked back down the shaft. Smoke curled to the broken vents, and distant sparks lit the hall like stars. Michael was still there, fists raised, facing the advancing machines. He wasn't fast. He wasn't strong, but he didn't move back an inch. Sarah's chest tightened. She had been running her whole life, from the facility, from the truth, from herself. Now she realized she wasn't running anymore. She had to fight for Michael, for herself, for everyone who had ever tried to control her. Her hands glowed faintly with the energy she had always feared. The memory of the Guardian, the Predator King, the power she had thought was only hers. It wasn't just destruction. It was control, command, authority. The metal hunters turned the corner, catching sight of her glowing hands. Their sensors blinked, warning of an anomaly they couldn't classify. Sarah stepped forward. Her voice was steady, calm, like she had remembered who she was. I am not yours to take. I am not a memory. I am not a weapon. The hunters fired. Blinding energy bolts streaked toward her. Sarah raised her hands, and the bolts froze midair. They hovered, humming like trapped lightning, then fell harmlessly to the floor. She smiled faintly. Her body moved faster than thought, smoother than instinct. She was everywhere at once. The hunters stumbled, confused, overwhelmed. Her light spread to the hall, freezing everything in her path, not killing, just stopping. They were powerless. Then she saw Michael. He had fought them off, but he was bleeding, a deep cut along his shoulder. His armor was scorched. Sarah ran to him. She grabbed his arm, the glowing energy coursing into him. Michael gasped but felt strength returning. "We're leaving. Together," she said softly. They ran to the elevator. Sarah pressed her hands against the control panel. The lights blinked green, and the elevator hummed alive. As they rose, Sarah felt something stirring behind her. The pod, the duplicate, was moving on its own. Inside, the other version of her had awakened. She looked at Sarah with wide, scared eyes. Sarah's heart skipped. It wasn't a threat. It was herself, not a copy, not a weapon, just another part of her she had forgotten. Sarah whispered, "It's okay. You're free now." The duplicate nodded slowly, almost human, and turned away toward the facility core. Sarah knew she would survive. Somehow, somewhere, the elevator doors opened at the roof. The night sky of Craxon, 7 stretched above them, stars shining, and the 2 humans, Sarah and Michael, stepped out. The jungle below trembled. The Predator King and the Guardian appeared at the edge of the forest, watching. They had waited. They were still loyal, still protectors. Sarah looked down at them and whispered, "Thank you. I remember now. I am not alone." Michael took her hand, his voice trembling. "You never were." From above, the facility began to collapse, alarms blaring and metal twisting. But Sarah didn't run from it. She stood on the rooftop, looking at the stars, feeling the energy of the planet around her. She had escape control. She had reclaimed herself. And she was stronger than anyone, human or alien, had ever imagined. The memory of the past, the pain, the experiments, all of it was hers now. But she was free. Sarah looked at Michael. "Now, we start our own story," she said. The night on Craxon, 7 was silent again. But this time, it was not fear that filled the air. It was respect. Because every predator, every creature, every force that had ever hunted her knew the truth now. No armor, no noise. Still, every predator recognized her. And she was unstoppable. The end.